welcome to episode number 14 of My Trucking Life. Truth, Trucking, and Tribulations from the Trucker's Table. Well, in episode 13, we left off. We had made it over to Landstar, and we had our 9400i International. It was a 2000 model, good truck, really good truck, paid for. That's the best part about it. And I'll put some pictures in here at the end so you can see it, what it looked like. Great truck. I love that truck. Wish I could have kept it. I wish I had kept it. So, obviously, you know I have a Volvo now, so I don't have that truck no longer. But anyway, let me tell you what happened. So, we're in March. Let's put it that way. We're in March, and we're getting ready to go to not Daytona, getting ready to go to Darlington for the races. This was back when they had the races in April, before they moved it back to Labor Day. So 2014, I believe it was. Anyway, I had an incredible month in March. I banked, after all my expenses, I banked over 10 grand that month. I mean, we were doing great. You know, paid our bills down and stuff like that. We were doing really good. And I had took a load down towards Fort Pierce, somewhere down that way. And I was empty, I was headed back to the house, and the truck just went berserk. I don't know what happened. It was just chugging and everything. So I pulled over, called roadside service. They got somebody out there to check it out. And they're like, man, you got some engine issues. You know, we're going to have to get it back to the shop before we know how bad it is. There's an international place down there. And so they towed it over there. And they looked it over, and they're like, it's going to be a while before we can get to it, you know. So I went ahead and rented a car and came on home. And it's nice when something like that does happen, that you have the money where you can get home, you know. So we came on home and went ahead and went to the races, did everything, you know. And when we got back, we were thinking maybe it'd be something. I mean, I knew it was going to be expensive, you know, to fix it. So I said, we'll just weigh our options and see what happens. So we get back home, we get the estimate on it. They wanted right at $17,000 to rebuild that engine. And I told my wife, I said, you know, I've been missing out on some loads, because some of the loads that Landstar has, you have to have a certain model truck. It can't be more than 7 years old. And I said, I've missed out on a lot of good loads, you know. And I said, maybe I should just go ahead and buy another truck, you know. So we looked at that option and decided that's what we were going to do. So I went ahead and sold the old International. Didn't get much out of it. I mean, it had good tires on it and all that good stuff. You know, I had new tires on it and stuff like that. And other than the engine needing rebuilding, it was a good truck, you know, for the most part. So the guy that bought it down there, he was going to rebuild the engine in it and everything. And so I sold it. We had some money ourselves. Landstar loaned me $5,000. And I borrowed some more money from my mom just to have enough to make sure I had a big down payment, so my payments wouldn't be so high every month, you know. And also, this was my first time buying a truck in the open market, you know, not a lease purchase. And so I went down to Sun State or Sun something other down there in Tampa. Is where I ended up. I looked at lots of trucks. I did. I looked at a lot of trucks. And the only thing I could afford at that time, because the market was pretty strong back then, was a ProStar International. Well, I wanted one with the condo skyrise sleeper, you know, the big sleeper. And at the same time, you know, I had to be able to afford it with the down payment and everything else. And I wanted one with a Cummins engine in it. It had to have a Cummins engine, you know, because you only have Cummins or the Max Force. And I was not going to buy a truck with a Max Force engine. Mr. Soares had already told me about those trucks. He said they're trash, don't bother with them. And so we're looking and everything. And found the truck I wanted, decent price. And the guy said, man, we got that same truck, a little bit better interest rate and a little bit less on the overall price. He said, it's got a Max Force engine in it. I said, nope, don't want it. He goes, well, let me tell you what happened. And he goes, when they built this engine, there was some part that they designed, and it had a design flaw in it. They've since corrected that, and we're not having the problem with it no more, and everything. And he was telling me all this stuff, and it made so much sense. I guess that's the art of being a good used car salesman. And me being gullible Rob, I just fell for it hook, line, and sinker. And so it took some pressure off of us, money-wise, buying that truck versus buying the one with the Cummins engine in it. So we get the truck. Man, I did not even make it back to Tallahassee with that truck before the engine light came on. I had to get it looked at. Finally got it squared away. Started hauling loads. My first load, engine light thing came on again. Had to take it in, get it worked on. Something to do with the EGR cooler or some of that crap with the emissions and different stuff. So got it fixed. Had to clear the codes on it and everything. Got back going again. Hauled a load. Hauled another load. Next week, boom, back in the shop again. Same thing. And it got to be a regular thing. I couldn't haul a load. I couldn't haul more than 1 or 2 loads a week because I was in the damn shop. It was a hunk of junk. I should have never bought that truck, That was a huge, huge mistake that I regret to this day. I wish I'd kept that old truck, brought it back up here. I could have got it rebuilt up here probably for $12,000. And that's what I should have done. I should not, because they want way more down there to rebuild than they would up here. Plus, that was an international dealer, so they're going to charge you more. But, yeah, that's what I should have done. I should have brought it back up here, got a hold of Mr. Soares or somebody over there and got it over there where they worked on the truck before and had them rebuild it, Some people I trust. And I'd be so far ahead of the game today if I'd done that. So, anyway, I had that truck. I bought the ProStar International. And Teresa decided to go out with me on a run. She took a week off. And we got a load going out to Houston. And on the way out, we stopped off down around Benton, Louisiana, over there close to where that Love's is. And she got something from Burger King, and I got something. By the time we got to Houston, she was deathly sick. She was real bad. I took her to like a Patients First or one of those, little medical things, And they looked at her and they're like, yeah, you got to go to the hospital. So we got her over to the hospital emergency room, and they checked her out, and they ended up admitting her into the hospital. And she was there for a couple of days, and she had some issues, and they're like, if it doesn't clear up, we're going to have to do surgery. I already had called her mother, and her mom and her stepdad came out there, They had the keys to we had a Chevy Tahoe at the time. And they had the keys to that, so they just drove that out. And we had, this was before we had Ellie or McGee, and we just had Abby and Ducky, so they were in the truck with us. So I'm having to take care of them in the truck, run back up and take care of her, back and forth. And the hospital was great. They found a place for us to park the truck and everything. And so I'd have to run down there, check on them, run back, check on her. And to her mom and them got there, and that helped out a lot. But finally she got doing better, and she rode back home with them. And Abby and Ducky, I got a load back home, and they rode with me back to the house, and we get back home. And this was around the 4th of July, somewhere in there, pretty close. And And I had a good system going. I had loads I would pick up in Panama City, run up to Vidalia, Georgia, drop and hook 24/7, run over to Port Wentworth, Georgia, over by Savannah, pick up a load there, and I would either go to Dallas, out to Frisco, Texas, or either I'd go down to Houston, whichever one I delivered to, and then I'd go somewhere there around Texas and pick up a load and come back to Jacksonville or somewhere down over this way, and then I was home for the weekend, and I would do that every week, you know, because the loads were really good back then. It was real easy to do that little triangle, you know, and I was home just about every weekend, and I loved it. You know, it was great. But the truck issue, man, it was just like for 4 weeks in a row, every week it was in the shop. Finally, I think they got it fixed, or they replaced some stuff on it, and finally I think they got it fixed, and it was doing a little bit better, you know, more consistent running. And so we get to the end of July, and I'm still doing the little triangle thing, you know, and we've made a decision. Teresa is going to quit her job because she hated her job, and she applied and got accepted to truck driving school at Washington Votech over in Chipley, Florida. And she was going to go to truck driving school. Yeah, she's going to get her CDL. And we were going to run team, because I'd already talked to Landstar. And Landstar goes, you know, if she completes the truck driving school, gets her CDL, we'll let you train her for X amount of time, and then y'all can just run regular teams. And I was like, sweet. That's the good thing about Landstar. So if you're married, you know, and you want to get your spouse her CDL, that's the way to do it. All you got to do is get her through an accredited or, you know, decent truck driving school. She passes that, got her CDL, you can train her the rest of it in the truck. Sorry about that. My lips itching. But so that was the plan. She'd already put in her 2-week notice, you know, and then put the deposit down. She's going to truck driving school. And so we're excited about it. We can't wait. You know, it's going to be awesome. You know, while we're on the road, she's going to be taking online college courses. My wife has a master's degree. She is smart as a whip. And so she's going to take more classes and work towards getting her PhD. And that was her ultimate goal, was to get her PhD and open up her own practice. Not as a medical doctor, not that, but a PhD to where she could counsel families, children, different things like that, you know, kind of like a mental health kind of thing. And, or, you know, just, it's hard to explain because I don't understand it all myself. But she's really smart. She knows all that stuff. And she's been working in addictions and all this kind of stuff, you know, pretty much since she got out of college. And so she knows all this stuff really good. And so we're on our way. I got a load. I'm going out to Dallas, you know, and I'm going to go out there. And just when I get back, by then her 2-week notice is going to be up. And we're going to, she's going to truck driving school, you know, and it ain't that far. Tallahassee to Chipley. I mean, it's a little bit of a drive, don't get me wrong, but she was going to run, you know, drive back and forth every day and everything, and do that. And so things are looking up. Yeah, looking great. We got the old Pro Stars hanging in there, you know, and I'll put some pictures of the Pro Star here, let you see how I had it decorated up and everything. And then the unthinkable happened. Something that changed my life and made me seriously think about giving up trucking, period, permanently, not getting back behind the wheel of a big truck ever. That was just about to that point. And I did end up leaving Landstar. And I don't want to get into it now because it'll take me a while to tell everything that happened and explain it to you, because we're already almost 15 minutes in. And so we'll say that for episode number 15 of My Trucking Life. Truth, Trucking, and Tribulations from the Trucker's Table. So y'all come back for episode 15, and I'll tell you what happened that changed my perspective on trucking and brought me to the brink of giving up trucking forever. And it was pretty bad. So we'll talk about it in episode 15. Y'all be safe. Y'all have a great weekend. It's Friday. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy my weekend. And I'll go ahead and tell you, for a lot of people already know, but for people that don't know, today is my last day. My last day being 49 years old. I'm leaving the 40s behind, saying hello to the 50s. Lost in the 50s tonight. Yep, at midnight tonight, tomorrow Saturday, I'll be 50 years old. So we're home, we're celebrating, me and Teresa, and a couple of, my mom I think is coming over. So I didn't really want her to come over. I was afraid she might get sick or something, but I couldn't talk her out of it. And me and my mom have a real close relationship, and I'm her only child, so that tells you right there I'm probably spoiled, right? So anyway, I just want to let y'all know that in case you didn't already know, and that's why this video is a little bit rushed. So I apologize if it ain't as good as the ones I normally do, but I wanted to get it out. It's Friday, and don't forget tonight is Friday, Pale Riders Friday Night Live beer session. So, but thank y'all so much, and y'all stay safe, and we'll talk at you soon.